Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever heard the term machine learning and felt your brain just kind of shut down like it's some impossibly complex thing? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to show you that it's not only understandable, but that you can actually grasp the basics and build your very first model in like the next 5 minutes. For real. Let's jump right in.
So, what's the big deal here? How is this any different from regular coding? Well, with normal programming, you are the boss. You write every single rule. If this happens, then do that. But with machine learning, we totally flip that script. Instead of feeding it rules, we feed it examples. We give it the inputs, we show it the outputs we want, and then we basically say, all right, computer, you figure out the rules. It discovers the logic all by itself, straight from the data.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what machine learning actually is. Then, we'll expose the so-called magic behind it all. After that, we're going to build a simple model together, right here. And finally, we'll use it to make our very first prediction. Let's get to it!
All right, first up, what even is machine learning? At its heart, it's really just this: letting computers learn from examples and find patterns in data. That's it. Instead of us having to explicitly program every single little rule, we let them figure it out on their own.
Let me give you a super simple example. Imagine we've got this data. On one side, hours studied, that's our input. On the other, marks, that's our output. I mean, you can probably spot the pattern with your own eyes, right? The more you study, the better your grade. It's pretty obvious.
So instead of us trying to write a rule, we just hand this data over to a machine learning system. It analyzes the relationship and comes back with a formula. Something like this. Marks are basically 10 times the hours you study plus 20. And here's the key. We never wrote this formula. The model discovered it entirely on its own. That is the core of machine learning.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the magic. It's time to unlock the actual process that's happening behind the scenes, the stuff that makes these amazing predictions even possible.
Spoiler alert, it's not really magic. It's just a process. A pretty standard one, actually. You start by collecting your data, then you clean it up, because data is almost always messy. Next, you choose the type of model you want to use, you train that model, that's the learning part we keep talking about, then you test it to see how well it works, and finally, the fun part, you use it to predict something new.
Now, we keep using this word model, so what is it really? People talk about it like it's some kind of digital brain, but the reality is so much simpler. A model is just a mathematical equation. That's all. It's an equation that a computer uses to represent the patterns it found in the data.
Yeah, that's it. That's the big secret. For the kind of simple model we're building today, the equation is literally y equals mx plus b. You probably learned that in a high school math class. It's not some mysterious black box. It's just a formula for a straight line.
So this is the crucial point. When you hear that fancy phrase, training a model, all it really means is the computer is using math to find the very best numbers for that equation. It's just trying to find the perfect values for m and b that make the formula fit the data as closely as possible.
All right, enough theory. Let's get to the good part and actually build one. We're going from idea to reality with a hands-on example right now.
First things first, we need our data. So imagine we have two simple lists, one for the hours studied, another for the marks someone got. If we were to plot these on a graph, you'd see they form a pretty clear, straight line heading upwards.
And now for the main event. This single line of code, model.fit, this is where all the learning happens. This is the one instruction that tells the computer, here are the inputs and here are the outputs. Go figure out the mathematical relationship between them.
And what did it find? Well, we can just ask the model what it learned. And boom, it tells us the slope of the line, our m, is 10, and the starting point, the intercept, or b, is 20. The computer figured out these exact numbers for us.
So, when we plug those numbers back into our good old y equals mx plus b equation, we get the exact formula the model discovered. Marks equals 10 times hours plus 20. It perfectly represents the pattern in the data we gave it.
And that brings us to our final section, making your first real prediction. This is where we use our brand new model to forecast an outcome for data it has never, ever seen before. This is the fun part.
Now let's put our model to work. Our original data, if you remember, stopped at 8 hours. So what score does our model predict for a student who studies for 9 hours?
To find out, we use another really simple command,
model.predict, and we just give it our new input, which is 9 hours.
And the answer it gives back is 110. Based on the pattern it learned, the model predicts a score of 110. It just used its own learned equation, 10 times 9 plus 20.
And this is what the model is actually doing if you could see it. All that training was just the process of finding the single straight line that best fits through our data points. So making a prediction is just finding a new point on that same line.
And just like that, you've done it. I mean, think about what we just did together. We created a data set, we chose a model, we trained it, we looked at the equation it learned, and then we used it to predict a completely new value. This isn't just theory. You just walk through the entire process of fundamental machine learning.
So here is the one thing I really want you to take away from all this. The next time you hear someone talk about training an ML model, I want you to have this mental model. It's not magic. It's not a thinking machine. It simply means using data and math to find the best numbers to plug into an equation. And with that simple idea, you now understand the real core of machine learning.